I'm about to be reading. I just realized that I did. What's up, Alex? I just realized that I didn't have no coffee, so I gotta make that real quick. But I gotta do it like some weird ass way because my coffee pot is weird. So bear with a player. Hold on, let me set up a goddamn Lord. Shut the fuck up, Donnie B. Oh, bloody hell. I mean, I don't fucking know. I don't know what's better. Let me turn this one off. Turn this one off. I'm gonna turn this one up. Fuck your Jesus. What's up, man? Chilling, dog. I'm about to just watching some of this Hassan Piker. You feel me? I fuck with Hassan. If you don't fuck with Hassan, you just wrong. Like I don't know what to tell you. This dude is the truth. The truth. He more the truth than Jesus. Wait, what? You push up. Your push ups are starting to show. Is that what's up? That's what's up. I feel that, bro, on the way to work. What's up, Rafe? Why are you here? Who the fuck? Ah, you talking about R6 boy? If R6 boy is a Christian, I don't know why you're here either. Come to North Korea? What in the goddamn hell? I don't want to goddamn do that. What the fuck? You off the chain, B drop. I love it though. I personally invite you to my beautiful country of North Korea. I'm all set. You know what I mean? Like I may not love this country, but I don't mean I want to go to North Korea. What the fuck? Hell nah. I want somebody from like it's somebody from like Australia. You know what I mean? Could just or even Canada. Fuck it. You know what I mean? At this point, I'll take it. Come on, Canada. Somebody from Canada adopt a player. Be like, yo, I'm gonna adopt this old ass dude. You know what I mean? So he can gain citizenship here in Canada. You know what I mean? So I get the fuck away from here, dog. I don't feel safe. Oh, you a troll? Oh, damn. Okay. Oh, that's what's up. Jen Somany Beach. What's up, Jen, baby? Let me see if I can make you a moderator, son. Hold on. Jen Sama. Add as moderator. I don't know. Standard? I'm going to make you a standard moderator, son. There it is. I had to. Jen Sama is my biggest financial supporter, hands down. Like, nobody's even close. So, of course, he gets to be moderator. You know what I mean? He probably don't even want to do it, but, I mean, what's to moderate? Don't nobody be in here that I don't want to hear. What up, Derek? Derek Overman, the real deal. You don't have to work today or what? Brad, nah, I had to call off, son. My knee been fucked up. Like, I couldn't even walk. That's why I'm like on one of my knees now. Because it's like kind of hurt to stand up. Let me turn this shit down, bro. Plus, I would have been off at 3 anyway. I was latibulating, and then I saw you was live. Well, I'm glad you stopped latibulating so you could come see a player. You know what I mean? Man, start doing cardio. Fuck you, me. Like, I ain't doing no damn. For what? I'm alright. Who I'm running from? I shall accept this honor. That's what I'm talking about. What's up, Dave? How you doing? What up, Chad? Shit. I'm about to start reading, son. I just had to PT all day. I just had to make some coffee. But my coffee pot don't brew right. Like, I don't know what the fuck's up with it. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed like the water, when it's supposed to come out the little spout and into the fucking coffee, like that shit is going back into the reservoir. Like, I don't know what the fuck's up with that. I tried to fix it. And by that, I mean, I looked at it intently, you know, but it didn't work out. So now I gotta like boil some water. That's what I'm doing. I got a pot on the motherfucking stove. I'm about to burn my damn self. I got a pot on the stove. Got a pot on the stove so I can boil some goddamn water. And then I'm gonna pour that water into the goddamn coffee pot. You know what I mean? I'm about to smoke a fat joint. Blueberry muffins as fuck. Okay. Oh shit, we in there. We in there. Hey, this is some ghetto ass shit I'm doing right now, but whatever gets the job done. Look. What up? Man, it's Dade, not Dave. Richard, you keep doing that, bro. My name is Dade. With a D. Not a B. That's right. But it gets the job done. You goddamn right. So look, I'm not gonna be reading a whole lot when I start. You know what I mean? But motherfuckers were asking me where I got that story about Jesus when he was a kid, fucking up people and shit. So I got it from this book. Bart Ehrman's Jesus Before the Gospels. And I got the stories like annotated, you know what I'm saying? That's baby Jesus story 1, baby Jesus story 2, baby Jesus story 3, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into them, you know what I mean? And they come from the gospel.
As the tech industry is currently conceiving of artificial intelligence, it just requires a massive amount of energy and
I'm pretty sure it's the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. But wait till I read this shit. You're like, what the fuck? Like I told you, man, Jesus is a little asshole. When he was a kid, according to this, Jesus was a little shit. You know what I mean? Somebody needed to slap his goddamn man. You couldn't slap him though. It'd probably kill your motherfucking ass. 'Cause that's what the fuck he was doing. Oh shit, that shit boiling. Hold on, son.
AI development.
Oh shit.
Want to get these gigawatt-sized facilities online. They want many of them around the country, and they want to do it in the next few years. In 2025, the tech industry is expected to spend about $475 billion on data centers, up 42% since last year. Today, data centers make up about 40% of U.S. electricity demand. In just the next 30 years, that's expected to triple. The United States has never generated more electricity in our history than we are today. The problem is that
You and Jen Sama could be an unstoppable duo. We already are. What's up, Bob Poppy?
entirely
Don't they use some of them stories in the Quran? Mm. I've only read certain verses of the Quran. I haven't read the whole thing, and I don't plan to. It's irrelevant. You know what I mean? Now, if I lived in a country where, Islam was the dominant fucking religious, you know what I mean? Like the dominant religion with the most influential political fucking, yeah, I mean, then I would rail against Islam. But I'm in a country where millions of dum-dums believe in the fucking Bible. So that's what I have to contend with. That's why I be studying the Bible and shit. You know what I mean? I do more with the Bible than Christians do. You know what I mean? Typical atheist shit. Like, we gotta read the Bible. Christians don't read the Bible. We gotta go do exegetical analysis. Christians don't do exegetical analysis. You know what I mean? We gotta check the authenticity of the historicity of Jesus. But Christians don't do any of that because they're intellectually lazy. You know what I mean?
data centers were responsible for 63% of last year's price.
Shit, you know your verses.
900 over $1,000.
Goddamn right. What's your number, Dave? Who the fuck is Dave? You're killing me, son. Yeah, I was a Jehovah's Witness too. I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Hey, but we made it out that shit. You feel me? In a way, I'm kind of glad that you know what I mean, that I was in it. Because otherwise, I wouldn't have had any real, like, exposure. Like, well, because I was a Jehovah's Witness, I felt like going to a church that wasn't a kingdom hall. You know what I mean? I felt like if I went to a church, that it was an affront to God. So I just wouldn't go. In fact, when I stopped being a Jehovah's Witness, I still believed their teachings. I just didn't adhere to the teachings because I didn't want to embarrass God by my behavior, because I felt like I'm supposed to be a representative of Jehovah, and yet here I am cussing and, you know what I mean, reading comic books with violence in them. And so I said, you know what, I can't do this. It's too difficult being a representative of Jehovah, so I will give it up. Because I don't want to embarrass him. I don't want to, like, bring shame on the name of God. So that was why I stopped being one, you know what I mean? But I still believed in him. Like, I still thought he was there, you know what I mean? I just didn't give him much thought, though. You know what I mean? I had life to live and shit. And when it came back around, like, probably in my 30s, when, you start hearing more about Jesus this, Jesus that, and shit, and it's like, you know what, let me look this shit up, son. You know what I mean? Let me read the Bible. Let's do some analysis. Let's see what the fuck's up. And sure as shit, there's just no fucking reason to believe any of that shit. I'm like, man, what the fuck was I doing? It wasn't like I believed it. I just, like, if someone asked me, like, hey, do you believe in God? I'd be like, yeah, for sure. And they'd be like, why? And I wouldn't have had nothing. I'd have been like, cause. What do you mean, why? You know what I mean? I've been on some shit like that. Like, I just had no argument. But now, now I feel like I've adopted a position for which I can advocate, a position that I think is admirable, and that being methodological naturalism. You know what I mean? So, oh, shut up.
Meta has signed a 15-year deal, and it only obligates them to pay for about half of that $3 to $4 billion infrastructure, which means that there's a big risk that everyone else in Louisiana will get stuck with the rest of that bill. I believe the future is building personal superintelligence for everyone. Meta, we have the resources to build a massive and the ability to deliver new technology.
All right, let's get into this shit, man. All right. Yeah, this is better. I guess. I don't fucking know, dude. All right. As you might imagine, Christians throughout the ages who recalled the life of Jesus as an infant regaled one another with stories about his miraculous youth. Several of the most intriguing accounts can be found in an early medieval gospel that scholars call the Gospel of Pseudo Matthew. Like its predecessor and source, the Proto Gospel of James, Pseudo Matthew was enormously popular. One of its best known stories involves the infant Jesus' journey to Egypt with his parents, Joseph and Mary, to escape the wrath of King Herod. This trip is recounted without any detail in the New Testament itself, in the Gospel of Matthew, for instance. In this later account, on the other hand, allegedly also written by Matthew, some of the entertaining details are provided. In this version of the story, Jesus is not quite 2 years old at the time. The trip involves not just him and his parents, but also several servants along with some rather peculiar animals. Early on in the journey, while the Holy Family has taken a stop, a group of dragons comes out of a cave and approaches them, much to the fear and consternation of Jesus' parents. But not to Jesus. He stands before the dragons, and they begin to worship him in fulfillment of the prophecy of Scripture, quote, "Praise the Lord from the earth, O dragons and all the places of the abyss." Jesus tells his parents not to fear and not to think of him as a young child in need of protection. For he tells them, "I have always been the perfect man, and am now, and it is necessary for me to tame every kind of wild beast." Soon, an entire coterie of animals accompanies the family on their journey: lions and leopards, along with the oxen and donkeys and tame goats. After the family travels for 3 days, Mary has grown weary from too much sun. So they stop, and she sits for a while in the shade of a palm tree. She looks up and sees the top of the tree with its luscious fruit, and she bemoans the fact that it's so far beyond anyone's reach. Joseph is surprised that she's so worried about food, with their main problems being a lack of water. They have nowhere to replenish their supply. The infant Jesus, sitting in his mother's lap, solves both of their problems. He speaks to the tree, "Bend down, O tree, and refresh my mother from your fruit." The palm tree does as he commands, and everyone eats of its fruit and is refreshed. Jesus then orders the tree to open up the hidden springs that lie at its roots. Springs of fresh, clear, cold, and sweet water flow forth. To reward the palm tree for its faithful response to his commands, on the next day, Jesus informs it that one of its branches will be taken and planted in paradise. An angel of the Lord appears from above, cuts off one of the branches, and takes it up to heaven. Jesus announces that the same palm tree that has refreshed his family will refresh all the saints in paradise. Here, Jesus is remembered as the wondrous, miracle working Son of God, already as an infant. So that's one story. It's not that interesting. It's like, so what? So an infant could speak and was like, "Chill out, mom. Don't even worry about it." You feel me? I've always been the perfect man, even though I'm not a man yet. I'm just a baby. So don't even trip. You know what I mean? Hey, tree, give my mama some of that fruit, son. And the tree was like, yes, sir. And just gave his parents some fucking fruit. And they ate. And he was like, yo, why don't you pull up them roots, though? Because we thirsty. And the motherfucking tree was like, you right, Jesus. And the motherfucking roots just, blam, water everywhere. Christians believe the wildest shit. Anywho, let's keep going. Another account of Jesus as a young boy comes to us in a book called the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. One of my favorite gospels. Even though in antiquity this book was not as popular as the proto-gospel of James, it's extremely popular today, at least among readers familiar with the apocryphal accounts of Jesus' life. It purports to relate incidents from Jesus' life between ages 5 and 12. What is ultimately driving the account is a question that some people still have today, even if they've never heard about the early Christian Apocrypha. So if Jesus did such fantastic miracles during his public ministry, what was he doing before then? In particular, what was he like as a boy? This account shows what he was like. Modern scholars are divided on whether the gospel is meant to show that Jesus had unearthly powers and a mischievous streak that kept him from controlling them, or if it's instead meant to show that the powerful events of Jesus' later life were foreshadowed in his prepubescence, or both. If nothing else, readers today widely agree that the stories remembered here are highly entertaining. It begins with Jesus as a 5-year-old playing by a stream. He decides to gather some of the muddy water together into a pool. He then orders the muddy water to become pure, and it happens instantaneously at his word. He then shapes 12 sparrows out of the mud. A Jewish man walking by, however, sees what he has done and becomes incensed. It is the Sabbath, and Jesus has violated the law of Moses that forbids work on that day. The man hurries off to tell Jesus' father Joseph, who comes to the stream and sees Jesus with the mud sparrows. He's too angry, and he asks Jesus why he has done such a thing. Jesus looks at his father, looks at the sparrows, and then claps his hand and says, "Be gone!" And the sparrows come to life and fly off chirping. This is a great story. Not only has Jesus shown that he is both the Lord of the Sabbath and the Lord of life, he has also destroyed all evidence of malfeasance. Sparrows? What sparrows? Fuck you mean? In the next story, we see why some readers detect a mean streak in the boy Jesus. Another child, the son of a Jewish scribe, is playing with him at the stream, and he decides to take a willow branch and scatter the water that Jesus had gathered together and purified. Jesus gets angry. He turns to the boy and tells him that he too will wither like a tree with no water and will never grow root or bear fruit. The child is withered on the spot. His parents come and carry him away, bemoaning his lost youth. Jesus' reputation with his townfolk does not improve from one story to the next. In the following account, he is walking through his village, and another boy who is running past accidentally bumps into his shoulder. Jesus is aggravated and announces, "You will go no further on your way." And the boy falls down dead. Joseph, he like, "Bitch, you just gonna bump into me?" Shit. You know what I'm saying? So Joseph decides that Jesus needs to be educated, goddammit. Surely some book learning will do him some good. On 3 occasions, he tries to find a teacher for the boy. It never ends well. Jesus humiliates the first teacher by delivering a learned and obscure lecture on the meaning of the first letter of the Greek alphabet, a lecture that no one can figure out. The teacher gives up after 1 letter. The next teacher fares worse when Jesus refuses to recite the alphabet with him. In frustration, he smacks the boy upside the head. Big mistake. Jesus curses him on the spot and he falls into a dead faint, and so it goes. Now, Jesus eventually does start to use his powers for good. At one point, he's playing with a group of other children on a flat roof. One of them, a boy named Zenon, accidentally trips, falls to the ground, and dies. There's a lot of dying in the Bible. Anywho, the other children are frightened and run off. Jesus goes to the edge of the roof and looks down and sees, and as he's looking on, lo and behold, Zenon's parents walk up and see their dead son. Looking up, they see Jesus and assume that he's been at his tricks again and accuse him of killing their son. But this time, Jesus didn't do anything. So he leaps off the roof, lands by the body, and orders Zenon to rise from the dead and say whether he has killed him. Zenon is restored to life and announces, "No, Lord, you did not throw me down. You have raised me up." Jesus begins to use his powers for good, raising those he has killed and healing those he has harmed. Moreover, with his miraculous abilities, he proves to be remarkably handy around the home and the carpenter shop. The account ends with Jesus as a 12-year-old confounding the Jewish teachers of law in the Temple of Jerusalem, a story taken from the New Testament Gospel of Luke. See, when people think of Jesus today, this is not the Jesus they remember. Most don't remember anything about Jesus' life before he was baptized as an adult. But throughout history, people often remember Jesus this way. But it's not because he really did wither his playmates and zap his teachers. These are legendary accounts, distorted memories. But they are how people recall Jesus when they thought about his young life. Now, as you might expect, based on everything we've seen so far, apocryphal stories that fed the Christian imagination and populated the Christian memory about Jesus were not restricted to his birth and childhood. There were plenty of legendary tales of his life, teachings, death, and resurrection. I often get asked why, in my opinion, Jesus never wrote anything. Well, according to some stories, he did indeed write. There is the famous account of Jesus and the woman taken in adultery, found in later manuscripts of the Gospel of John, chapter 8, and familiar to Bible readers today, both because it can still be found in most English translations and because it is the darling of every Hollywood director who has ever made a movie about Jesus. In that story, both before and after, Jesus tells the Jewish leaders who want to execute judgment on the woman, quote, "Let the one without sin among you be the first to cast a stone at her." He stoops down and begins to write on the ground. Unfortunately, we don't know what it was he wrote, even though later interpreters down till today have made numerous suggestions. Possibly he wrote a scripture verse about false judgments. Possibly it was a list of the sins of the woman's accusers. Possibly they were divine threats against those who oppose him. There are lots of options. Far less familiar to modern readers is a writing by Jesus in a legendary account known as the Correspondence with Abgar. In this account, which appears to have circulated principally in Syria starting in the early 3rd century, Jesus corresponds with the king of the city of Odessa, a man named Abgar. Abgar first sends Jesus a letter in which he indicates that he has heard of Jesus' great miracles. He can make the blind see, the lame walk, the lepers clean, and the dead raised. Abgar too is ill, and he would like Jesus to come heal him. As a side benefit, by coming to Syria, Jesus can escape from the Jews who are trying to do him harm. Jesus replies to Abgar's request in the one letter that we have that is allegedly from his hand. He praises Abgar for believing him without having laid eyes on him. Regrettably, however, he cannot come to Odessa. He needs to fulfill the mission that he has undertaken. After that, he'll be ascending to heaven. Jesus does indicate that after his ascension, he will send one of his disciples to heal Abgar. In a later legend, we learn that following Jesus' resurrection, his brother Judas Thomas did send a Christian missionary named Dade to Abgar. He healed the king and then converted the city of Odessa to the Christian faith. These two letters and the legend were in circulation for a long time. Where they were known, they formed a clear memory of Jesus and his foreign correspondence. Somewhat more familiar to readers of early Christian Apocrypha today are the non-canonical Gospels that report teachings of Jesus that were in circulation in various churches throughout the empire. None is more famous than the Coptic Gospel of Thomas, not to be confused with the Infancy Gospel of Thomas. In chapter 6, I will have a good deal more to say about the Gospel of Thomas and how its author and readers appear to have been remembering Jesus. Here, I simply want to point out that these recollections of Jesus' teachings were sometimes far afield from how other Christians in antiquity recalled the words of the Savior, not to mention most Christians today. This gospel was discovered in 1945, along with a number of other early Christian texts, 52 altogether. Along with a number of other early Christians, oh, I already said that, in a collection of leather-bound books near the town of Nag Hammadi. Most of these other texts represent views of early Christian Gnostics. Modern scholars call these followers of Jesus Gnostic because their version of the Christian faith emphasized knowledge for salvation. What mattered was not the death and resurrection of Jesus, but the secret teachings he delivered, whose meaning explained how the divine realm and this material world came into existence. Those who correctly learned the secret knowledge that could bring escape from the material trappings of this world would find salvation in the world above. Gnosticism is an incredibly complex set of religions, with different sects having different mythologies, different sacred writings, different ritual practices, and different organizational patterns. Luckily, we don't need to discuss the Gnostic religions here. One of the debates about the Gospels of Thomas during the past 20 years or so is over whether, like other books among the so-called Nag Hammadi library, it should even be considered Gnostic. Most experts today think the answer is no, but again, that is a debate we do not need to enter into here. At this stage, I want to make a more basic point. The way Jesus' teachings were remembered by this author, and presumably his audience, are strikingly different from the way they were and are remembered by other kinds of Christians. The Gospel of Thomas consists entirely of sayings of Jesus, 114 of them altogether. Among these sayings, there are certainly some, a lot in fact, that will sound familiar to anyone conversant with the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. In a way quite similar to these other Gospels, Jesus delivers the following teachings. You see the speck that is in your brother's eye, but you do not see the log that is in your eye. When you take the log out of your eye, then you will see well enough to take the speck out of your brother's eye. That was saying number 26. If a blind man leads a blind person, they both fall into a pit. That's saying number 34. Blessed are the poor, for the kingdom of heaven is yours. That's saying number 54. But he's also remembered saying things that strike most readers as highly puzzling, to say the least. The following examples can illustrate the point. In saying 37, his disciples said, "When will you appear to us, and when shall we see you?" Jesus said, "When you strip naked without being ashamed, and take your clothes and place them under your feet like little children, and stamp on them, then you will see the Son of the Living One, and you will not be afraid." In saying 50, if they say to you, "Where have you come from?" tell them, "We have come from the light, from the place where the light came to be on its own, established itself, and was revealed in their image." If they say to you, "Is it you?" say, "We are its children, and we are the chosen of the living Father." If they ask you, "What is the sign of your Father in you?" say to them, "It is movement and repose." Jesus be smoking that shit, son. Like, none of that shit made any sense. Let's keep going. When you see your likeness, you rejoice. But when you see your images that came into being before you, and that neither die nor become revealed, how much you will bear. Blessed is the lion that the human will eat, so that the lion becomes human. And cursed is the human whom the lion will eat, and the lion will become human. Or there's the saying that is probably the most perplexing, famous, and possibly offensive to modern sensibilities of them all, the one that ends the collection. Simon Peter said to them, "Mary should leave us, for females are not worthy of the life. Jesus said, look, I'm going to guide her, right, in order to make her male, so that she too may become a living spirit resembling you males. For every female who makes herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven. Sounds like Jesus is on board with transgenderism. Anyway, let's keep going. Luckily, at least for me, I do not need to provide an extended interpretation of these particular sayings here. As I've indicated, I will have more to say about the ways Jesus is remembered in this text in chapter 6. For now, I simply want to stress that however one interprets these later sayings, they're very different indeed from those that can be found on Jesus' lips in the canonical Gospels. Those who remember Jesus' sayings like these will remember a different Jesus from the one portrayed in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. In addition to recollections of Jesus' writings and teachings, there are numerous alternative memories of what happened at his death and resurrection. Arguably, the most intriguing is the fragmentary account known as the Gospel of Peter. This comes to us in a book that was discovered in a cemetery in Upper Egypt in 1886 in a tomb that archaeologists identified as belonging to a monk. The book contains 4 different texts, so that it was a small anthology. The first of which, occupying 10 pages, is a gospel that claims to be written by Jesus' closest disciple, Peter. This particular copy of the gospel, the only copy we have, was probably made in the late 6th century or so, and unfortunately the scribe who made it was copying only a fragment of a larger gospel. The surviving portion of the gospel presents an account of Jesus' trial, death, and resurrection. Scholars are reasonably unified in thinking that originally the book was composed in the early 2nd century. Now, whether it depended for its account on the narratives found in the canonical Gospels is much debated. What's not debated is that this is an unusually fascinating memory of Jesus' passion. One of the most immediately striking features of the account is the heightened responsibility borne by the Jews, both the Jewish leaders and the Jewish people, for the death of Jesus. Much like the later Pilate Gospels, here it is not the Roman governor who was principally at fault, but the recalcitrant Jews who, by their unfaithful and reckless behavior, have brought the judgment of God down upon their heads. Possibly even more striking are the intriguing deviations from the canonical accounts of Jesus' actual death and resurrection. For example, in this account, one of the crucified robbers berates not Jesus, but the Roman soldiers who are crucifying Jesus without good cause. The soldiers respond by not breaking his legs, so he will die in agony. The assumption here is that death by crucifixion comes by slow asphyxiation. A crucified person can breathe only so long as he can push up on the spike through his feet to relieve the pressure on his lungs. Once the legs are broken, that is not possible. And so, by not breaking the criminal's legs, the soldier prolonged his torment. Another example involves Jesus himself on the cross. We are told that he was silent as feeling no pain. This has raised numerous interpretive questions since the text was discovered. Is the author indicating that Jesus was silent as if he had no pain? In that case, he would evidence a rather stoic attitude toward his own torture, possibly as an example for Christians who themselves might be martyred in days to come. Or is the author suggesting that Jesus was silent precisely as one who did feel no pain? That appears to be how the text was read by some Christians in antiquity, who understood it to mean that Jesus did not really have a full flesh and blood body like other humans, because he was himself a divine being who only seemed to be a human. His was a phantom appearance, a non-material body, a body without nerve endings. If that's what the text means, then it would have portrayed Jesus in terms widely acceptable to some groups of Gnostics and other kinds of Christians who stressed Jesus' full divinity at the expense of his humanity. By far, the most interesting divergence from the canonical Gospels comes at the end of Peter's narrative, where we have an actual description of Jesus' resurrection. We get no such description in the New Testament. Okay. In all 4 of the canonical Gospels, Jesus is crucified, dead, buried, and on the 3rd day, following the intervening Sabbath, one or more of his women followers comes to the tomb or provides his corpse with the proper rites of burial, only to find the tomb empty, the body gone, and the Lord raised from the dead.
The resurrection event itself, when Jesus emerged from the tomb as the Lord of life, is not described in the New Testament. It happened sometime before the women showed up. So, that isn't the case in the Gospel of Peter. Here in the Gospel of Peter, we're told that Pilate appointed Roman guards to watch the tomb to prevent Jesus' followers from stealing the body. Now, while the guards are performing their duty, to their amazement, they see the heavens split open. Two angelic beings descend. The stone in front of the tomb rolls away. The angels enter into the tomb, and then three persons emerge. Two of them, presumably the angels, are so tall that their heads reach up to the sky. The one that they support on the way out is taller still. His head reaches above the sky. Behind them, out of the tomb, there emerges the cross. A voice comes from heaven and asks, "Have you preached to those who are asleep?" The cross replies, "Yes." This is an absolutely astounding account. Now, whether the author wanted his readers to take it as something that literally happened is anyone's guess. How we wish we knew. Whatever its status as a literal description of a historical event, the account is clearly filled with deep symbolism. The angels are gigantic because they are superhuman. And of course, superhumans are massively larger than humans. Jesus, as the Son of God, is much larger than the angels. The voice of God speaks to the cross to find out whether the message of salvation brought by the crucifixion has been proclaimed to those who were already dead, dwelling in Sheol or Hades at the time. The cross affirms that indeed the good news of salvation has reached the underworld. What a splendid way for early Christians to remember Jesus. He's not remembered as a crucified criminal who was humiliated and tortured to death by enemies more powerful than he. Quite the contrary. He is the powerful Savior who has overcome all the powers that are opposed to God, the powers of Rome, the powers of the devil, the powers of sin and death. His victory is now blazing both across the pages of a text that proclaims his conquest and in the hearts of those who read and hear what he has done and who he is. Christ is the Lord, not only of the living, but also of the dead. This is quite a memory of Jesus. Christians will believe anything. There's no evidence for any of that shit. But there's some interesting ass stories though. Oh shit. Where's your friend? Show up. I don't know what the fuck that means. Hello, Dade. How are you, sir? What's going on, Wolf Pet? Oh shit, son. The fuck? I have eyeglasses too. Well, I mean, hey, that's what's up. Man, I did all. I ain't even make the cup of coffee yet. Let's make a cup. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Oh, let me turn the light on. Can't see shit in this bitch. Mix. What the fuck? Hmm. Yummers. It ain't hot enough. I was fucking around too long. I gotta warm them bitch up. I bet y'all microwave ain't this clean. Dirty motherfuckers. Hello, Dade. How are you, sir? Man, I'm good. Wait, I already said I already read that shit. What the fuck? I'm out of cigarettes. So. Planet Peterson, he live. Planet Peterson live. Why y'all watching me and shit? Y'all could be watching Planet Peterson. The Rabbit Atheist, he live. I should go to his channel. You know, fuck, I'm going to Rabbit Atheist channel. Cause he live and shit. Let me say what's up to him. Say what's up to the player. Let me hit him with the axe. Yes, sir.
There's just been so many like pop culture references directly related to this channel that are like pop channel references, and I know that's one of them. It's escaping me.
This coffee good as fuck.
My brain doesn't work as well as it used to. So, that's Dade too. Excuse me. There you go. Excuse me.
Axe. Yes, sir.
He's in this one. So yeah, so he's down in the thought bubble down here. It's a little hard to see. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger.
This shit meta as fuck.
But I'm going to have it in the thumbnail. It's a little bit more visible.
Oh yeah, I see it. The excuse me.
Yeah, but this one, everybody's there. So there's that. But I enjoyed this one because there's moments, you know.
Let me. Do I gotta refresh this shit?
I always think Asho, like Asho's been
Oh no.
for like 22 months.
Ain't nobody. I don't see nobody saying anything. I think my stream might be fucked up.
I'm not ready to chuck the whole thing again and just quit. And I started a membership. I've been active for like 7 weeks. I had a lot of people following, watching my videos and stuff, and things were growing a little bit. And I'm like, yeah, this is a lot of work for not a lot of anything. And then as
Hold on.
became my first member.
Maybe I'm tripping.
So,
What's this?
yeah, you gotta have shield, but yeah, but it's like
Oh man, you know what? It didn't have it on. I just realized that it was on top messages and not all messages. That's why I wasn't seeing shit. So I just switched it to all messages, and now I see what y'all saying now.
So, because I was getting ready to quit, like again, like this isn't working, and then I'm glad I didn't because last year was a really great year. I mean, went from 1,000 subs to 5,000, haven't had that kind of success this year, but it's because I've been streaming more than doing videos, so.
Yay! What's up, Miss Rose?
Yeah, it's like.
Santiago, do you believe that life is inherently meaningless and futile?
People that have been involved.
Yes.
In the channel and.
You hear me?
All of you being here.
Our life is no more important than like the life of a fucking ant outside or fucking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's only you only feel like it means something because you are a human. You know what I'm saying? It's like. Well, we don't fucking matter. We could all disappear tomorrow, and the Earth would just keep on spinning like we was never here. Like we don't. In the grand scheme of things, we don't fucking matter. None of us do. You know, we matter to each other. You know what I'm saying? And there's something to be said about that. We don't have to matter to the universe. What does the universe give a fuck? You know.
So, the summer was kind of rough because I got overheated a lot.
I mean, he has a point. I mean, I know. Dad, do you eat healthy or not really? Not really.
It just got really bad this year. So,
not at all. I don't eat much, you know what I'm saying? But when I do, it's trash, you know. Like fucking chips or fucking Muddy Buddies or goddamn whatever's on the roller grill at fucking Speedway, cause I'm fucking cheap. Or Casey's. I don't know if y'all got a Casey's, but I fucks with Casey's.
I gotta show you.
Shout out to Casey's employees.
Get it into my file of easily accessible images. I don't know if I have to remove one yet. Nope, I do not.
I got 2 blunts rolled up over there. I'm rolling this. Well, I'm not really rolling it. I'm stuffing this shit, but.
So there you go.
I never had too many. I only smoked like 3 today. I've been slipping.
So there you go.
I'm definitely gonna smoke these other 3. That'll be 6.
I like it.
So today will be a low blunt day.
Yeah, the Flying Spaghetti Monster is not as really. Bangs is very, very human for a bunny. So yes. Suggestively limited.
I'm a broke bitch. I had to go put air in my tire again. Like the same tire, and I'm having to do that like every day. You know what I'm saying? Like I know I need to get a new tire and shit. I don't know.
Just click on it and get some interesting reading. It's
told y'all I was broke.
Isolated in a lot of ways, so.
This where all my money go right here.
And very thought-provoking at other times for me, so.
But I gotta have it, son.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Cranky, Kyle, is that he's much more forward than most of the other elder gods, which is kind of scary when you really think about it.
What is bro talking
You're
about?
officially a brand? Okay, Creatively LLC, and you're officially a brand by Killer. There you go. It's her new logo, so I think it's awesome. You know, you've always had that. See, the thing is, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, exactly how
Conscious
did
stuff.
Earl get killed?
Bear, what up, son? AP, what up, AP? There's a lot of work done on the content. I encourage anyone to look into it. Very intriguing. Making me jealous. Oh, B. Oh, let me turn this light off.
The answer might be yes.
Damn. Who said what's up? Oh, what up, Bear? Bear the homie.
It's like, you need to understand you have a mom that will bury the body and not tell anybody. You know, so.
I'm bullshitting, son. This is probably like blunt number 7. I forgot about the ones I smoked like right when I got up. I be forgetting this shit. Yeah, me. Dang, remember me when I come back. All right. I mean, like, what?
But yes, it was just like, it's.
You know.
Allegedly, Earl was killed. Earl was dressed as.
You know what I find ironic?
Earl was threatened to death.
I wanted to post this, but I know it's too early,
There's a lot of theory.
and I ain't want to come off like non-sympathetic, you know. But I was just thinking, y'all know about them kids that got shot today at like a Catholic church or some shit. Isn't that ironic?
You know, the beauty of being
Like, you motherfuckers died at the church.
gators,
Where was your God?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't see y'all praying and shit? He didn't see y'all in there?
Like,
He just let y'all get murked?
Red Dead Redemption.
It's like, if that don't say, like, shouldn't that let y'all know, like, y'all God ain't there, bruh? Like, he couldn't save these kids.
I looked them up. They're actually real things.
Or he wanted them to die.
Very handy.
I mean, that's more in line with that God's character. I mean, he was, like I said, the God of the Bible loves slaughtering kids, so this might be right up his alley. Like, that's what's up right there. That's the holiest act one could commit. To kill a kid. Kill a kid in the house of God. Ain't this a bitch?
Never saw that game and drove my way out.
They probably wasn't praying right. I don't know.
Experience. Red Dead Redemption 2 is it will.
Let me stop. Because I don't even hate Christians. I'm coming off like I hate Christians. I just hate Christianity.
You just have to wait a little bit.
And I hate the lies that people are going to tell the families of those victims that, like, something about this was God's plan or some shit. Like, man, get the fuck out of my face. Like, I wouldn't want to hear that shit. Like, that ain't no more comforting than me saying, well, hey, it is what it is. One minute you're here, the next you're gone. You know. Sucks that there's no plan. There's just some random ass shit, you know.
Yeah, I know. I get it. But man, it's just like, the story is really good. It's really good. Like, Arthur Morgan is probably in my top 5 of fictional characters ever created. Like, he is very
It ain't that hot outside. This sort of sounds like filling the gaps with something woo-woo. It do. The idea that there's a plan is pure bullshit. What is the plan? To get shot at school. I know, right? Like,
you can wear anything you want. They have
all this shit about a plan just doesn't make any sense. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, why do they even think there's a plan? Like, where are they coming up with this notion? God has a plan for all this shit. No, he don't. Y'all making shit up. Jesus was supposed to come back in the lives of the people he was talking to, but he didn't. So, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's no other plan. The plan didn't work. It failed. Okay.
You can do some cowboy stuff in it. Like, you can rope, you can ride, you can shoot.
I get what you mean, though, bro. They just believe in things that naturally happen all the time. What? I have a plan for him. Jen Summer, like, I got a plan for that bitch. So do I, son. I mean, I don't, because there's no... Like, I won't go as far as to say that there's no God at all, even though I'm not convinced that there are any. But the Christian God, this notion that there's this all-present, or, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving, get the fuck out of here. No, that God doesn't exist. Okay, just straight up. You can't be perfectly merciful and perfectly just. Like, that's not possible. That's a contradiction. And this notion of love, like, it doesn't know what love means. Love is a human concept. That's something we describe, behavior among us. So we're not going to ascribe love to the God that said, like, no, go ahead and own other human beings as property. Stone women to death who don't bleed on their wedding night. In fact, if your kids talk back to you, stone them too, to death. Like, don't just hit them with rocks. Kill them to death, motherfucker. Like, shit. Can you imagine, like, if we really did live our lives based on what the Bible instructed, half of us wouldn't be here. But there would be no America. Like, Ain't nobody left to find shit. Like that might be a good thing, though. Now that I think about
I
it.
enjoyed the game
But
as a game, so.
just saying.
But it did spark, like the sanitary conditions of the Old West weren't great, and one of the things.
This shit here is burning so well, y'all.
Is like.
Motherfuckers like, what's your favorite strand? And I just be like,
In that environment.
yep.
Like especially like saloons.
I don't have a favorite strand. Fuck you mean? Y'all be asking me like, what's your favorite strand? There's like there's 5 of them. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, you know how many fucking different strands are out there? You mean what's my favorite of the ones I've tried? You know what I mean? Or just the ones I've heard of, or like what the fuck? I put it this way: I like all the ones I've ever had. I'm gonna start making a list of them and shit. I remember when I got some wizard snot. That shit was pretty fucking dope. You know what I mean? So if you ever get you some wizard snot, I don't know if you can always get that shit, but that shit was fire. You know what I'm saying? And of course, gelato. That shit's fire. I had some fucking, some kind of, like, I think it was like some white runts. That shit was fire. Like all this shit be fire, son. I go to the thing, like when I go to the dispensary, I select my weed based off of the THC content. Like I don't give a fuck what it is. Like 29%. Like 29%. Give me that. Put that in the bag, son. You know what I mean? Like I don't even care what it is. It could be like you like what you like, indica, sativa, hybrid. I'm like, So let's just what you got.